Welcome to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast. We go down all of the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days, and it was just a jam-packed week. There was an immense amount of stories, big ones at that, just very important products, innovations, reveals, teasers, hints at what's coming. I think I mentioned last week that it's around this time the industry gets a little bit quiet. I think I've even mentioned it over the past few weeks in terms of just how active brands are releasing things and moving into this, I guess, I won't say quarter, I would say last third of the year, they just slam it home. And this is a very good sign that this is exactly what's about to happen. Just getting in on the admin side of things, I would like to clear that up, get that side of stuff out of the way. Firstly, I have been able to confirm we are indeed doing the all expenses paid trip to the Arnold giveaway at the Stacked Expo on September 16th. So that is an expo that will run online. It'll be open for about a week. You can get in, check out what everything else is that's in there. People are presented, launching information, everything that we can communicate online that you can get from a regular expo has been. That's the whole purpose of it. But our giveaway will be launching during that time. However, it will continue throughout. So I think we're going to close it around maybe December, somewhere at the end, enough time so that people we can draw the names and they can organize travel schedules and bookings and everything like that. Last little bit, this coming week we will be doing another huge giveaway. We had a great reception with the 1 bar giveaway. And so this coming week we're going to be doing a year's supply of CreGAAtine. Now I don't know the specifics. We were kind of going back and forth whether or not it's one of those ones where if it gets, I don't know, this isn't real, but let's just say if it gets this many likes, we do 2 years supplies. If it gets this many likes, we do 3 years. And I don't mean like one person gets 3 years of CreGAAtine. I mean 3 people get 1 year of CreGAAtine. That one's coming out later this week. And then additionally, we're going to be revealing the people or the brands that will be taking part in the Stacked Online Expo. Again, taking place on September 16th. And then depending on how things go this week, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we will begin to announce the participants in the Stack Pavilion for the Arnold Sports Festival in 2025. It is important that we didn't get to announce them that much last year. This year we're really trying to drive it home, get them spread out, get them announced, get them confirmed, build some hype. Mostly because the way that we've grown the space this year, or I guess planning for next year, is that we get to set a group of brands, and so they're kind of set in stone. And now if anyone wants to join at the Stack Pavilion, the only way we can expand on this space is by going out like up or left, whatever. So we can only add another row of booths, which means that if one person wants to come in, we cannot do that. We can only add, my math isn't great off the top of my head, but let's just say we could only add 8 to 10 brands, if that. So if 4 people want to do it, we can't have them. We have to have that set amount to be added. And so from there, once we've got that initial group set, there will be potential to be added, but it's all going to come down to how many we can add and if it's possible. And that's specifically for the Stacked Pavilion. There will be other areas in the Arnold Expo that people can book and take up, but I would advise if anyone is interested, brands, if you're interested, get in soon. I've looked at the floor plan. I still suspect it's going to be completely flat and booked out by the time we get around this next year, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that is the admin side. Now getting straight into the news, and it is, as I said, it's a pretty stacked week. We're going to kick news off with probably one of my most favorite announcements of the week, and that comes from Leica Pro. So the team at Leica Pro is very similar in the sense to, I don't know, Ghost and Apollon. Who's some other guys that do it quite frequently? There are a bunch out there, and I don't mean in terms of branding or even categories. What I'm saying is they have a signature trait between them where they update their formulas. They go from V1 to V2 to V3 to V4. That's something that those brands that I mentioned do, and Leica Pro does it in style. It updates its supplements, and it doesn't take anything away. We mentioned in the post that when brands usually reformulate, it can be for a few reasons. One can be just because there might be something they need to take out, and that can lead to something being made better. They put something in to take its place, or alternatively, they might just take it out and leave it as is, which is not my preferred approach, obviously. You can get companies that restructure a supplement just because they have a different direction. They might be splitting it up, they might simplify it, they may make it cheaper, might make it more expensive. But my preferred approach is very much what Like a Pro does, and that is where they make it better. So this past week they announced Anytime Burn V4, where they basically improved their stimulant-free fat burner Anytime Burn, which was actually revamped last year, and very similar to last year where they kept everything on board and added one ingredient. They are doing that again this year. They've kept everything the same from the KSM. I think the other one, big one in there, is Mito Burn, Inno Slim, Calorie Burn. They have added Glucovantage dihydroberberine, so a very common glucose disposal agent ingredient, which has a lot of benefits to it when you have better glucose uptake and absorption and efficacy and optimization. It leads to better pumps, performance, strength, recovery, all of that stuff when you can optimize that area. And that includes weight management. Obviously, when your body can better utilize carbohydrates, it can lead to better weight management. And that's precisely what they've added to Anytime Burn V4 and taken nothing else away. So you realistically cannot complain. No one can have any complaints about that when they've kept everything the same and added to it. Again, it's something similar, something that a few other brands out there do, like Ghost, like Apollon. There are a bunch of others, none are coming to mind, but that is what Like a Pro has done, and I applaud them for that. And on such a quick basis, like I said, last year, it was a year ago that they did V3. So kudos to them for staying on top of their game and revamping this quickly. The product itself went live today, and if you get in, this isn't going live until tomorrow, so this might not make shit all of a difference. But if you get in within the first 24 hours of it being available, there's an automatic $10 off. So you save yourself if you are one of the first to try it. Next up, we're going to go over to VMI Sports that released long awaited KX Stacked or Stacked KXR, Stacked KXR. A beautiful name, if I might say so myself. Originally started as KXR Elite. If you can recall, back into the end of last year, they previewed that supplement, and the concept was that it would be a premium version of KXR, which it has indeed turned out to be. But now the name is Stacked KXR, and it is indeed a stacked formula. I got to give it to them. So it is worth noting on this one. So on the facts panel, it's 30 servings. It's very similar to the regular KXR. However, unlike the regular KXR, which you have single serving, gets you 400 milligrams of caffeine, Stacked KXR still has high dosages in its regular serving, but you do have the ability to double up, mostly because there is 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it says on the label to try a maximum of 2. And so because the caffeine's lower, it gives you the ability to double up, get the 400 milligrams, but then it doubles up all the other ingredients. So it will result in 15 servings per tub if you have the double, but at the same time, that's the purpose of it. It's a premium alternative. It is meant to be a step up from KXR, and Stacked KXR does exactly that. You have, I'll rattle off the highlights right now. And this is in the double serving, so the maximum serving. You get 12 grams of citrulline malate, and I might point out that is maxed citrulline malate, so that is the max catalyst that you might have seen infused with black pepper to enhance the absorption or maximize the absorption and optimization of the ingredient. You've then got 3 grams of taurine, a double dose of beta-alanine at 6.4, 2.5 betaine, 2 grams of tyrosine for focus alongside a gram of itacholine, pink Himalayan sea salt, DMAE, theobromine, and as mentioned, you've got the caffeine that provides 200 milligrams of total caffeine, so it's from a variety of sources. And at that double dose, you get that 400. So it's very similar to the regular KXR, but just with everything stacked up. And that's precisely what you want. When you spend more money to get a more premium pre-workout, that is what you want, and that is what they do. And kudos to them, because the price is also, I'm trying to remember the price, I know we highlighted it. So the price is $49.99. So it's 42% more expensive than the regular KXR, but again, you get a lot of dosages, a lot higher dosages, a wider variety of ingredients, and it is bring down the overall servings. But as I said, it's a premium pre-workout. The purpose is to pay more to get more, and they've done exactly that. Keeping things interesting, Prime dropped a couple bombs last week. Very interesting bombs, I might say, if that were a thing. Firstly, they announced that they are bringing back one of their signature flavors, one of their last year's flavors, about a year ago that they actually launched Glowberry, which was a sour appleberry. I don't know, appleberry. whatever it may be. It was Glowberry. It glowed in the dark. It was an extremely desirable product because what Prime did, it took full advantage of what it has been known to do. So a lot of people collect Prime bottles, special editions, and Glowberry debuted with a whole bunch of them. And even more importantly, not only did they have different editions, so everything on the inside was the same, but they had different versions that had different labels. They made some of those versions exclusive to different parts of the world. So there was one you could only get in the UK, one you could get in the US, and still to some extent you could, the ones in Canada had the dual language call out, so they inherently were a bit different. Australia had a different one. So it was very difficult for collectors to get them all together if they wanted every single one. But the news this week is that Glowberry is back. They brought back the original flavor. Now, so they said that they've brought Glowberry back. Now they did say that they've brought it back with a twist. So I don't know if it's the same flavor. They weren't overly clear. I would have thought if it was the exact same flavor, they would have said so. But on the outside it's different as well. So the outside they've gone with this more spooky Halloween looking forest theme. And yeah, kind of alluded to the fact that it might be a slightly different taste on the inside. We weren't able to confirm that. Additionally, there are two versions. So whereas last year you got all the different designs, this year is the main one, the spooky forest type one. As unoriginal as that name is, that's what I'm going with. And then they have a split design, so very similar to last year. They had these different versions that had split designs. One was like a graffiti and a drip. One was like a, if you look back, you're about to see it. Now this year they have what is essentially the Prime logo, typical top half, and then at the split part, they've basically got it in like a boiling vial or vat or whatever it may be. It's in a boiling goo, and it has that kind of split design similar to what we had last year. Top part black, bottom part green, and a very eye-catching look. But that wasn't all Prime was in the headlines for last week. They also did something that I think they just did. I don't even know why they did. They did it, and it just kind of showed that what they can do when they want to. So as the story goes, Logan Paul saw on social media that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's son, Saint West, was drinking a bottle of Prime, obviously showing he's quite a big fan. So they sent him a care package. He sent back a few drawings, concepts of flavors, or I guess labels, alternative reskins. And again, this is going off the video that Logan Paul put out. So he went through them all, and one of them he actually liked and turned into a flavor, and it was a bubblegum flavor. Now, according to Prime, they did indeed, it is a bubblegum flavor. It has a bubblegum taste, from what I understand. The design was made by Saint West himself, and they made an entire case specifically for him. So if you are the ultimate collector, and you want there are many out there who have absolutely every single one, and I do not think it'd be a hard time to find someone who has every single bottle, at least one bottle of each one. This was probably just made your job impossible. 12 case was made, 12 bottles, all went to Saint West. So unless that dude's going to be selling them on eBay, albeit one would fetch a phenomenal amount, as we saw with the Fortnite ones that clocked close to like 150K. Kudos to him, but yeah, you're going to have to hunt that one down, even if it's an empty one. So yeah, both of those you can check out on the site for more information. Next up, we're going to jump over to, I'm trying to remember, we did a review, that's right, we did a review on CreGAAtine, which was the innovative new creatine combination of creatine and I'm trying to remember the exact pronunciation, guanidinoacetic acid. If I'm wrong on that, I apologize. You all know what I'm talking about. So we actually did an interesting test because I'm a long-time creatine user, been in the industry for God knows how long, and creatine's a go-to supplement. I tend to switch out. I know many people take it year-round. I like the switching back and forth of getting used to and then having that jump in strength. Very similar to a pre-workout, right? You have that boost in energy. I like when you take creatine for like a strength phase or a build phase or whatever it may be, and it helps give you that boost. I think it's a nice little mental addition, but either way, several years of experience on creatine, and I was interested in how this compared. Now on paper, it's extremely innovative. It has some really cool little highlights and details that came with it, including an increasing of creatine levels in the body. Now, I am one that loves new ingredients, but I also like applying it to myself. I'm sort of, like many people, go to the gym, build muscle, get lean, build muscle, whatever it may be. So I was interested to know how good this would be in compared to regular creatine. I have my favorites, and this was obviously a little more expensive than your traditional creatine monohydrate, so I just put it to the test. We grabbed a month's supply, and I took it after 2 months of a regular creatine. And that was purely because I knew that if I had taken CreGAAtine from empty and had to load and go through all that, you might not necessarily see results for 1 to 2 months, whereas at this point I had that loading out of the way, the saturation was done, and the point was to see if I had a jump from regular creatine. Now, again, looking at it on paper, there are a lot more benefits than what I was using it for. The nootropic side, I think they were mentioning of that, and there were a few other things that pointed out, but I was purely interested in strength, power, and performance, the signature benefits of creatine. If I took this after taking regular creatine and I was like, holy shit, this is a leap. Now, our review we posted, if you read it, you'll gather I'm not talking about anything other than that in the gym. If there are things outside of that, if it's whatever markers, measures you want to go off, that's purely cool. What I was after was whether or not I could swap out creatine monohydrate for this and see if it was better. I would be doing this every day of the week. If it was mildly better, I would be paying that extra amount of money. And so if you read our review, it didn't really have any huge leaps and bounds. And I mean that not in the sense that there were increases necessarily. What I mean by that was when you take creatine, you can have a great run. I've had creatine and I've had the same creatine and my jumps haven't been as big or as moderate, whatever it may be. Anyone who's been in the gym for a while will know you're not going to improve 20% every single month. And let's just say we're taking creatine, we repeat the program. There are a lot of variables, a lot of things that change. It's training, it's life. It's all about learning about your body yourself. Now, I didn't see anything that would make me think I couldn't have achieved this with regular creatine monohydrate. And that was based on my previous months, what we were using with creatine monohydrate. And so not to knock CreGAAtine, like I said, on paper, it looked phenomenal. And there might be even better uses of it during that loading phase. I'm not sure. But basically, we put it to the test, as I assume others might be interested in if they were to have it in place of creatine monohydrate. And it wasn't too much of a jump. I didn't notice, I know that they say it's less bloating or water retention. I've never had a problem with that, ever. Some people have. I have heard that, not me. I didn't notice like a massive leap in results, recovery, strength. It just kind of felt like I was taking regular creatine. Now, if you're going to sit there and say, well, you need to do this or measure this, that's great. That's cool that there are other things to it. I was purely interested in that specific area, the traditional area of creatine. And I thought it was worth sharing. It does promote those kinds of benefits. So I was just purely interested to see what it compared. Check out the full review on the site, give it a read. Again, if you have a great experience with it, hats off to you, take it again. I say this with everyone who ever takes any supplement and they say, hey, you liked this and I thought it was crap, don't take it then. If I say something's bad and they take it like, this is phenomenal, take it, buy a year's supply. If you find something that works for you and gets you results, very much like myself, get on it, grab it as much as you can, because it's very hard sometimes to find something that can give you that extra jump, that extra 5, 10, whatever percent it may be. And we are all individuals. So check out the review on the site anyway. Very, very well worth reading, we felt, hence why we put it up there. We have to speed through these last couple. We've got 3 more stories. The next one we're going to go to sends us to 7-Eleven. So if you have ever been to 7-Eleven, and let's imagine anyone has been, they, like many other supermarkets, retailers, convenience stores out there, they do have their own house brands. 7 Select is one of them. That brand now includes an energy drink called, I believe it's Fusion Energy, 7 Select Fusion Energy. And I'm quite impressed. So we wrote this post kind of under the understanding that it was like a cost-effective, simple, basic competitor. It is not. So Fusion Energy Drink from 7-Eleven and 7 Select is a bit of a beast in terms of formula, considering this is from a mainstream convenience store giant. And I say this about any house brand. It's well worth seeing what these guys do, because they know their consumer better than anyone. And that's not even questionable. You should know this. why else would they make a product for their audience unless they saw opportunity? They wouldn't make something they knew was going to suck. So they've put quite a complex formula into it. I'm going to rattle it off for you. So the 7-Eleven or 7 Select Fusion Energy Drink has vitamins, BCAAs, alpha GPC, CreGAAtine, the ingredient previously known as Neurofactor for focus and cognition, Chromax, Cellflow 6, and then a slow-release dicaffeine, Infinity dicaffeine malate, providing a total of 200 milligrams of caffeine per can. Now it is 0 sugar, so they've kept their nutrition nice and low, and there are 4 flavors. I'm trying to find them now because I remember they were quite interesting. Galactic Citrus, Paradise Pulse, Rockin' Rainbow, and Cosmic Cherry. And like I said, I'm impressed that they did this formula. Again, not to knock them, we just saw Costco do a protein powder under its Kirkland brand. That thing was as very straightforward as you can kind of get when it comes to protein, and they did a damn good price, and that was kind of the point, was value. Now this, they've gone for a really damn good formula. I got to give it to them. It's very rare that you get a premium active ingredient in a supplement like in an energy drink like CreGAAtine, not to mention Cellflow 6, Chromax, Infinity. This is almost like a supplement, dude, put this beast together. So kudos to 7-Eleven, and I'm very interested to give this a shot. And if you have, feel free to reach out and let me know, especially how it performs, because this is very much a nootropic style formula. I didn't see the dosages. I wasn't sure if they listed them anywhere or if it was just in the ingredient section. I couldn't see the back of the can, or I hadn't had a look. So I'd be interested to know if like the alpha GPC and the CreGAAtine, if they play a role, and this is a dual threat energy focused beverage. You can check that out on the site, as with everything else on here. The last 2 stories, these are big ones, and so this episode might go longer than I ever planned for. Anarchy Labs. Anarchy Labs is launching this coming Friday, and they have passed on full details on everything, and it's going to be shared within the next few days, all leading up to the big launch. And we got confirmation that it is going to debut with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 or 5, but with 6 different supplements. There's going to be a stim pre-workout, a stimulant-free pre-workout, a pre-cardio, a test booster, a nootropic, and then a high-powered potent fat burner. And we got a look at the formula behind one of them last week, and that was, we made sure it was the beastie one of the lot, Ronin, the high stimulant pre-workout, and holy shit. So Anarchy Labs is actually a brand that was around several years ago. It preceded Apollo Nutrition. In fact, those 2 brands were around at the same time, and then some of those supplements from the Anarchy Labs family came over to Apollo, and Anarchy kind of just went by the wayside. They are now bringing it back. They are now keeping, if Apollo was hardcore, Anarchy Labs, I guess, is its angry brother, you could say. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's more potent, more intense, more edgy, and you can see that in Ronin, their high stimulant pre-workout, because holy shit. If you were wanting an all-out stim bomb from a premium brand or high-end brand like Apollo is, I will rattle this off for you, and I'm not going to, there is some, like there are things other than energy and focus in this, but by that I mean there's beta-alanine and betaine. Everything else is in there for the purpose of energy and focus. And so here's the list. And I'm not going to say the dosages to avoid time, but you know it's from Apollo, so they're on point. You get alpha GPC, 3 grams of tyrosine, Eriodrensis, might I point out, at 500 milligrams, a fat dose, N-methyltyramine isopropylnorepinephrine at 60 milligrams, Nupept alpha-yohimbine at 2.5 milligrams, and then you've got caffeine at a combined 550 milligrams, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 550. It's from multiple sources, and so the amounts on the label are not exact standard or yield, I guess you could say. I counted at 550, might be a little bit more, but yeah, you've got all the I don't know why I said P, all the powerful stimulants in the mix, and this thing is going to hit like a train. If you thought Assassin or any of the high stim pre-workouts that Apollon has done was amazing, this on paper looks like it's going to blow the shit out of the water, and that's not even, I'm not even exaggerating. You area isoprop, that much caffeine, Nupept, alpha-yo, and then the few other things you got sprinkled in between, the beta phenylethylamine, the alpha GPC, the tyrosine. I mean, I can tell you right now it's going to smack, and it's definitely going to be different from anything else Apollon or Anarchy has done. So I'm going to be getting myself a sample of that. I want to see what it's like. I'm not a huge high stim person, but I'm never going to turn down a different and new experience. So check that out on the website. I just type in Rhone Anarchy, and then stay tuned because I think Senshi, the stimulant-free pre-workout, has been revealed today, and then as the weeks follow, we'll be getting the other ones. I won't name them because there are some key points to the names. And if you're a fan of Apollon Nutrition, some of them will be familiar and it will affect the Apollon line. So I think it's worth noting that. So that's why the names haven't been revealed. But the last story we got is a mammoth of one. And I'm not going to rush through it, but I think I might have to. Quest Nutrition has been on a tear, like just an absolute shitstorm of insane innovation. It's been incredible to watch. They started this year with awesome new products, innovation after innovation, and they were quiet for a little bit. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, compared to what they went a bit quiet. Not quiet to the general brand, but Jesus, they were a little bit dipped. And then, of course, you know, when they're quiet, when it gets busy brands quiet, it means they've got a lot coming, and that they did. So this past week, I'll rattle them off. They launched a new birthday cake flavor for the crispy and crunchy Quest Hero Bar. They launched the second ever flavor for the coated candies, which is like their M&M type thing. Now this one takes it up a notch because the filling inside the colorful shell and chocolate is smooth peanut butter. They also launched a new flavor for the protein cookie in white chocolate macadamia. Then they introduced the Quest Bake Shop series. Now this is pretty damn big because I think it gives them a lot of legs to go into other formats. And when Quest has the ability to do that, it will do that. So the Quest Bake Shop is basically, it's a bakery inspired series. They've taken muffins and brownies and made them protein treats. And they haven't made the brownie, I think it's worth noting, they haven't made the muffin or brownie like some of the other brownies that we've seen out there. Then it's not collagen based. It's more reliant on traditional protein sources like whey, and I think casein was in there as well. And if you know Quest at all, you know these things are going to taste goddamn amazing, and the macros are incredibly on point. The brownie had 10 grams of protein, 2 grams of net carbs, and then the muffins were pretty much the same. There's one flavor for the brownie, 2 for the muffins, in blueberry and chocolate chip, and they look damn delicious. The pictures we've seen, I haven't tried them myself. The consistency looks on point. That muffin looks like it breaks apart and crumbles as you would dream, and the brownie looks as decadent and just brownie-esque as you could want. And I have tried every single Quest product that's out there, except these obviously, and they never disappoint. They may have like a little things that I'll sort of say, I kind of wish this was this way and this was that way, but they don't miss a beat. And ever since, well, I should say the last few years, they've just been continuing to push the boundaries, and I'm really excited to see them pull these out. So you can check them out on the site, but they are available on Amazon, and I think I saw some of them at Walmart as well. But for this episode, and the big news from Quest, that is it. You can check out every single story we mentioned here over at stack.com, stack3d.com. That is all we ask for support. That is all I need to keep doing this, keep providing the service, keep providing the information, and keeping the world up to date on everything sports nutrition, supplement, functional, energy drink. And yeah, look forward to share with your mom, your dad, your brother, and your sister, friends, and family. And I look forward to having you back next time. Thank you.